Hi there everyone, it's TextFamGuy1 here, and I'm really pleased to announce the release of Surface Tension Uncut version 2. But before I get into details about that, I'd just like to thank the community and anyone who played previous versions of Surface Tension Uncut. It's been really fun developing these maps and working with you to help improve them, and it's been really great hearing some of the feedback and things the community have to say. You guys are great, and I've really enjoyed it so far. So a little bit of background on this new version of Surface Tension. It really came about as a result of me kind of getting bored of working on Unreal Uncut for a long period of time. Working on Unreal Uncut has helped me sharpen my skills as a mapper and hone the craft, and as a result I noticed that there were plenty of flaws and various failings that were left in my work from the past. So I figured as a little bit of a break from my little uninspired work on B2, which hasn't gone very well so far by the way for those of you who've been keeping up, I apologise for that. I figured I'd take a break by revisiting some of my work and trying to improve some of the areas in which it wasn't quite so strong. And this mostly involved me revisiting lots of the areas on the G map. The H map is far less changed, although there are still differences on it. And there's lots of under the hood, not quite so obvious fixes to the average player. And then there's a few very, very heavily overhauled areas. For example, the tow courtyard or the helipad are quite drastically changed from previous versions, and you're going to see that. This commentary, I'm going to be gearing it more towards comments on the development and the whole process behind that. So first we have the car park, which really hasn't changed very much over the last few versions of Surface Tension Uncut, even since 0.9 or so. The most significant change with this version is that the performance has been improved quite drastically. Previous versions, such as 1.1, during benchmark tests I averaged around 80 frames a second in this car park, and on the new version, version 2, I averaged around 120 frames a second, so quite significant improvement there, which should help a lot because this was problematic for many testers. Many testers were reporting absurdly low frame rates, which shouldn't be happening because it's not a particularly demanding section. So the little cracks in the road that ran along the top floor have been removed. This doorway now opens to the inside of the stairwell rather than the outside, thanks to Dadster, and the whole drama surrounding that situation has been thoroughly entertaining, so thank you everyone who was involved in that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the forums, it's enlightening. We're working towards making Black Mesa a much safer and secure place for people to work. The top floor really hasn't changed very much either. It's all largely the same, which is kind of why I'm breezing through it really. Not going through anything like as much detail as I did in the past. So you can see it's all pretty much the same. And the first major change you will see is once I reach this hole in the wall, and it'll be the tow courtyard, which I've drastically overhauled. So let's just observe this fight here. In these situations, I always try and use the satchels to mop up because, well, they're not really useful anywhere else. They're really not very useful. So I might as well make the best of them. Right, now that's all cleared, let's have a look around. So you'll see the tow courtyard, the side area in particular is drastically different. It's much more open, gives you a better view of the 3D skybox. And I've changed the 3D skybox a fair bit as well. Adding some more hangars scattered around the airstrip, and just making it more open and prettier. Nothing much has changed here really, just a few small under the hood fixes. It performs a little worse than previous versions because of the more demanding tow courtyard, but that's about it really. I'm really trying to breeze through these early segments. I also apologise in advance for later on when there's a little bit of jumping around and scratchy editing. My fraps was being very uncooperative. So for the snark scene, if you hate having fun like I do, you can use the hive hand. It's very easy to kill them. The hive hand projectiles are probably a little bit too good at tracking the snarks, I would say. Boom. Right, so let's be introduced to snarks here. The flickering light is a little bit ominous to add some mood, and let's drop down into the garage here. One big change I made to the vent drop scene is that the pieces of vent which fall down are now actually solid. Before they used to just fall through the world. That's how the Black Mesa devs set it up. I'm not quite sure why. I'm sure they have a good reason. It makes a cool sound effect and it looks pretty cool as well. Look at that monitor go! That was fun. Right, let's grab the batteries. There we go. So looking around the garage, the biggest thing I changed was that window is now transparent rather than opaque. It actually didn't give anything like as much of a performance hit as I thought it would, so that turned out to be quite a positive change suggested by the community. Another thing I saw in a few videos I was watching on YouTube is these toolboxes sometimes, due to explosions or just random fighting, would get caught underneath the car lifts, and then lowering and opening the car lifts would result in physics glitches. Here we have the ambush scene. I redesigned a lot of it, as you're about to see. So there are 3 important changes to that scene. Firstly, the actual ambush itself looks far more improvised. The explosive provision is much more military crates rather than an elaborate setup like I had before. The wall actually blows up now, whereas before it just got some cracks and that was about it. And also the door comes flying off, which is a really neat detail suggested by Into Oblivion, which turned out really nicely. Oh, you're getting on my nerves. Just die! Huh. Ordinarily, I'd save blowing up that truck for the alien grunts, but that was just too tempting. Worked out alright. Let's grab a bit of health and move on. Another change is I've made climbing up this bit significantly easier by placing some high shelves underneath the window. So now, you basically don't even have to sprint. You can just crouch jump off this and land on the shelf. It's not anything like as difficult as it used to be. And a few of the less experienced testers were having a lot of difficulty with this jump, so I tried to improve that. So the tow courtyard is one area I was never very happy with. It was always an area that had a few major design flaws. The road was poorly designed. The side area in particular I was always very unhappy with. So I'm very glad I've revisited it, and now I'm extremely pleased with it. The side area before used to be a sort of very slapdash, haphazard, quickly thrown together mess of generators and cooling towers, I believe. And now I've revised it into an outdoor car park with a small security hut next to it, which makes a lot more sense. It's open but not barren, and it gives you a good view of the 3D skybox, which are all positives against the old version, I think. In terms of performance, because of the improved visual fidelity, the tow courtyard now runs on average around 10 frames a second less than the previous version, at least on my rig. But I find this to be an acceptable hit in performance. Probably the 2 most demanding areas in Surface Tension Uncut now are this courtyard and the helipad. Partly because of their high action, but also because they're quite detailed now. You can see I also changed the road layout so that it didn't have that horrible curve that it used to have. And this section here, which is like a storage area, serves partly as an explanation as to how the HECU set up the ambush for you. You can see they've been offloading explosives and stuff from this M1075, and they've been dropping it off over there where those big crates are. So you can say that they heard you coming and quickly bunged some explosives into that shack, which is the improvised look I was going for. The alien grunt ambush has been made significantly easier. They now come out 2 at a time instead of all 4 at once. And, oh man, why would I put the turret in front of the tow? Friggin' genius over here. Right, let's do this. One other thing I've done is I've tried to encourage... Oh dear, no, wait. Let's leave this. Ow. 2 can play at this game. Oh, that got him. Huh. Well, that probably looked a lot smarter than it was. What was I saying? Oh dear, I've forgotten what I was saying. Well, it can't have been that interesting if I forgot what I was saying anyway, so... I'm sorry to say that that's one pearl of wisdom you're going to have to live without. It's terribly sad, I know. This road is largely unchanged. The helipad is probably the most dramatically overhauled area. It's probably a tie between the tow courtyard and the helipad, but the helipad is significantly better. This is another area I was never terribly happy with, but now I'm very pleased with it. So you can see the building in the background. One of the really ugly silo-style buildings has been replaced with the surface tension-style building. And also the helipad itself. Having played through Black Mesa and worked on a rail, I noticed that in apprehension, they had a helipad which was really well designed compared to my helipad, which was nothing like as aesthetically pleasing or functional. So I overhauled my helipad to look a lot more like that one and be consistent. And the ramp leading up to it was changed a fair bit as well. Into Oblivion pointed out that the old setup, which had a ramp just running vertically up the side, it kind of obstructed the view of the Osprey from down here. So I made it more modular, so there's no obstruction this time. And another major change is that the area in which... Oh, what? What? What a disobedient sentry. There you go. Got what you deserved. I am in a little bit of trouble here. I better leg it. No. Why are those homing on him? Okay, let's just grab some health. Sorry, I'm going very fast here, but this is a fairly short video. Another criticism I've worked on. My videos apparently are far too long. So the previous versions had the main cover and supplies in that army tent on the right. And the problem was twofold. It wasn't particularly intuitive to go and hide there for players, and also it kind of blocked the view of the battle a bit. So I moved that more towards the centre. And you can see the modular staircase here, which doesn't block the view, and the underside of the helipad is a lot more open now, and it matches the design of the helipad in Apprehension. It's a lot better than the previous version, I think. This building on the left, the silo, which the tank comes out of, the tank comes out of, has been changed quite a lot as well, and I'll go into there in a moment after just briefly pausing to examine the expansive 3D skybox. Okay, so going in here, you'll see it's no longer a blank, empty, boring tunnel like it was before. A few testers and videos that I watched on YouTube, people kind of ran in here thinking it was the way they were meant to go. Hopefully now you'll be rewarded for it. An important aspect of my overhaul of Surface Tension was trying to reward exploration. So I added lots of new side areas and little goodies and hidden things to reward the intrepid explorer. Hopefully this makes the maps feel a bit more alive, rewarding and expansive. And another important focus of my gameplay, of my overhauls, was to try and make the maps themselves feel a lot more connected, both to one another and within each other. So again, side areas help make just everything feel a lot more realistic. And the great thing about side areas is players who don't enjoy the maps, or players who want to get through it quickly, or players who don't like exploring, can just skip them entirely. So there's something for everyone here, I think. So I've been very pleased with how this has turned out. It looks a lot better now. The previous design, while at the time it was probably the best I could have done, I've really tried to make it more consistent. So now let's explore the new office block, which I've added behind the helipad. Again, the helipad, like the tow courtyard, performs about average 10 frames a second, not worse than version 1.11. So I would say if you have a slightly weaker rig, it might not be worth picking up this latest version. But for everyone else, I wholeheartedly recommend this new version. I've really improved a lot of things. So this is an entirely new office area, which I created myself. This wasn't in Half-Life 1. And this is actually the interior of the building you come out of at the start of H. And again, I mostly added it to try and make the maps feel more connected and less linear. I always think that linearity, it can be a little too excessive sometimes, so adding side areas helps to alleviate that, especially in Black Mesa, which has been generally quite good about removing linearity. Oh! Get out of here! Right, so let's just look around. I've tried very hard to keep the appearance of the offices and the hallways consistent with the offices and hallways in Black Mesa's F map, which were very well designed. I love the opaque windows. If you see this door here at the end, the orange door I'm looking at, take note of that. I'll point out where that is later. Surprise head crab. Whoop. In earlier versions of this map, the head crab was on top of that green shelf, but he had a tendency to jump into the ceiling like a retard, so I had to move him. I liked that old position, but here he comes. Get crowbarred, son. Get crowbarred, son! Well, he could have been a high jump champion. This is the hound eyes. The implication of the boxes in front of the doors and the shelf here is that someone came across them and then tried to trap them in, and that's why they're there. Ow! Through the bloody wall? What are you on about, son? Right, grabbing some hidden goodies. It's always worth exploring this office block. Although I've taken some pretty hefty poundings, if you'll excuse the expression, I think you pretty much always end up making a net gain, no matter how badly you do. What the... Man, what is going on in this game? All of the aliens seem to be really talented gymnasts, even in death. Right, so now we have the zombie ambush room, which is the last of the small side areas in this little office. I'll let it speak for itself for a moment. Always head crab, always crowbar head crabs. Efficiency, people. He says as he misses every shotgun shot. They'll never be able to get me up here. Ah! No! Yeah, suck it. Right, so this is the blue screen of death effect is very, very pronounced. I've heard people complain about it. Personally, I like it. It's very, very over-dramatic, I know, and a bit overblown, but it matches the effect on C2A5F, where that effect is also very pronounced, so it's, I suppose you could call consistency. So this is there's a new transitional area which I added, which I'll show you now. This leads down into the security office with the zombie, which has been in previous versions, but wasn't accessible before. So now you can go in and put him out of his misery. There you go. And you'll see here, I'm now inside the transitional area from G2H. There's the little door you have to crawl under. And if I go through that door that's behind me, it'll transition the map. But just for thoroughness sake, I think I'll go and show you going across normally the way you could before. So let's do that. Let's just wander around over here. So one thing that working on this has taught me is that the previous version, 1.11, I know I'm being quite critical of it here, but at the time it really was the best I could have done. I worked really hard on it. I used all my skills to their maximum. You know, it had its flaws, but at the time I felt I can't physically do anything better than this. But now, having revisited it and improved my skills, it's really taught me that no matter how good you get, and I'm not making any assumptions here as to how good I am, I still feel that I'm a fairly average mapper. No matter how good you get, there's always room for improvement. The sky really is the limit. And hopefully this bodes well for you and your regret. This bodes well for Black Mesa as a whole, I think. I think that the next version released by the Black Mesa devs is going to be even better than the amazing game we've already received. So you can go through that door and transition back to G if you want. You can move back and forth. Here's the break room with the nonsensical stairwell now removed. The alien grump throwing the marine through the wall scene has been changed a fair bit. In old versions he was kind of stupid, he'd just stand there and look at you, but now I changed the hole in the wall so he can actually walk through it and actually run at you, so now he doesn't stand there looking at you stupidly. This has seen a fairly significant redesign, and Into Oblivion suggested this idea, and it's really good. I love it. I was really pleased with the way this turned out. You can now walk onto the balcony by climbing up this debris from this collapse section, so let's do that. It's a whole new way to experience the fight. Higher angle. I repathed the mantas a little bit so that they no longer collide through the skybox. Here it comes. I don't know about you guys, but that never gets old for me. It looks like the aliens are doing abnormal. Where is he going? Where do you think you're going? Well, they dealt with him. Deserters will be shot. Let's try and take this guy out. I have to be a bit careful here. There's a lot of aliens left alive. They've done very well in this battle. That was a good shot. Whoop, dodge the hive hand, dodge the hive hand. There we go. Right. Okay. I really tried to encourage the player to use the RPG in this. There's lots of ammo for the RPG lying around, so get using it. I'm all for using underutilized elements from Black Mesa. Oh, there he is. Man, that really gets on my nerves, that does. The collision on the crossbow is really not very well done. Ow. You know what? YOLO, right? Why do their hive hands have insanely good homing but mine doesn't? It's not fair. It just isn't fair. Nya! Take that. So this balcony area that I'm on here is directly outside of the offices I was just running around inside. And we can see some goodies in the distance there. So we can see some hidden goodies over there. I'm going to go and grab those. I'm a big fan of hidden goodies, I have to say. They play a large role in my level design. I think it partly comes from my gaming background experience in Descent and Serious Sam and various old school games like that, where hidden goodies are a very large part of the gameplay and they're really fun. They reward exploration. What's not to like? So this area remains largely the same. Nothing particularly drastic. This is all stuff you've probably seen before if you're familiar with it. Otherwise, I'm just very quickly breezing through some of the side areas. So hopefully by now the maps should feel a lot less linear, which is something I really enjoy. And a few simple additions, a few small new routes, I think it really goes a long way. Let's just maximise my ammo count for the Magnum here. Right, let's use the jump. There's the door I was talking about. That is the exterior of the office block we were walking through. And I made sure to make all the windows and doors line up properly so that there's a sense of continuity. This scene's been changed a fair bit. I can't remember who, but someone doing a Let's Play of Black Mesa pointed out that it didn't really make sense for the zombies and the snarks to fight only once you come into the room, because it was like they'd been getting along. Oh, yeah. Well, that went better than expected. It didn't really make sense for the snarks and the zombies to be getting along perfectly fine until you came in. So my attempt to explain that is to have the zombies playing dead beforehand. So it's like they weren't disturbing the snarks before, but they are now, and that's why the snarks get angry. So another change I've made that's fairly dramatic is I've actually managed to fix the sniper's broken AI. You may not have noticed before because it's a minor feature, but the sniper's AI was a little bit broken before. I'd coded it quite badly. And I've reworked it. He now shoots these barrels. So let's go on a masochistic crusade here. If he's once he sees you're hiding by the barrels, he does this. Ow. That did a crap load of damage. I wasn't expecting to be quite that hurt. Oh, the pains I go to for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that, because it hurt me a lot. Both feelings-wise and physically. Right, let's try this again. Let's repay the favour. Yeah, that's what it feels like to be exploded. Whoop! No! Not my cover! Right, there we go. Let's just grab some ammo and health. More side areas, guys. Right, the drop down here was causing crashes for a lot of people, and this was because I'd put the autosave and a trigger which triggers lots of events very close together, and I think it was kind of overloading systems, so I've eliminated the bounce up on this pipe as well. And you see this little grating I added here to try and explain why you can't actually kill him before he drops his satchel. A few players were complaining that didn't make... Can't believe I died to that. I've played this map probably thousands of times, and that may very well be one of the first times I've died to that. Not fun. Right, let's go about this a little bit smarter. Go! Go, 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 go! I also changed the effects a little bit for the explosion, so that it lights up initially now. Before it was a little awkward. What would happen is it would explode, the fires would come towards you, and then when it got halfway down the pipe, it would actually light up orange, which looked really weird. So it's a lot better now. So you're about to see another one of the side areas I added, and I think this is the last additional side area. It's a little stairwell connecting this to the snark bathroom. And someone on the Black Mesa forum said this, and I thought it was quite a good point. It doesn't really add a great deal. I maintain myself it doesn't really add a great deal. It's not game changer. But it does help to position yourself within the building and add, again, a sense of continuity between the areas. And it also allows you to backtrack if you feel like it, so... It took me a bit of work to get this sorted, but I think it was worth it, even if it doesn't really add a great deal, and I bet plenty of players won't even notice this. So the boxes behind the door explain why you couldn't open it while you were in here, because otherwise you'd be able to skip a lot of the scenes, which wouldn't be cool. And this blocked off area actually leads up to the room with the zombie where I was picking up the supplies earlier with the RPG. Let's make this a three-way battle, shall we? And then for good measure. That turned out alright. Right, so let's turn off this furnace. That's a bit of morbid fun right there. Okay, so let's just quickly reposition the valves. So the furnace room remains largely unchanged. I did a few optimizations to it, nothing major. The area behind it has been changed a bit. Wangman pointed out on the old version that the tank that was behind there was really dumb, and it was really dumb. Upon a second inspection, I've changed it to smaller tanks. The old tank, it actually couldn't physically have fit into the room itself, and how would they have got it behind the furnace anyway? So the new tanks are a lot better. So in terms of changes to the rest of the map, all that's really different from now on is the gasworks, which I made a fair few changes to, but nothing extremely major. and as a result the video will end once I've talked to the Barney in the gasworks. And this is because my fraps was being very uncooperative and it kept crashing, but also because after the gasworks there really hasn't been very much changed, so you'll probably have seen it all already. Just having a quick drink here. I also apologise for my cough, I'm a little bit ill, so it's kind of mirrored my first on a rail video. So the exit to this pipe has been changed so that you no longer have to take damage upon jumping down. It was actually possible to do it before without taking damage, but it was very difficult, so I mirrored the pipe to make it easier. And here's the gasworks fight. The aliens no longer spawn facing away from you. What is this guy doing? So the major changes I've made to the gasworks are I've improved performance a fair bit by roughly halving the amount of steam jets which come out for the jumping puzzle. I've increased the amount of destruction visible because of the Apache crash through the roof, so I'm able to have less steam because this pipe is destroyed now rather than having steam forcing you to come across. And I've also changed some of the less sensible props for better ones that match the theme, and I've reintroduced the blinking light, which serves to direct the player a little bit. I learned how to do this whilst working on a rail uncut by looking at the way the Black Mesa dev team had done their blinking lights throughout the chapter, and it's a really clever system actually. I really like the way they set it up, so I've mirrored that. I fixed a long-standing bug with this road by making it wider so that stuff no longer clips through it, and my fraps crashed. That's just good. So let's do the jumping puzzle. You can see there's far less steam than before, so this helps performance. And then always happens on video. Can do it perfectly every time when I'm not filming, but then when you start filming, it all goes to shit. Right, anyway, it's bloody sod's law, that is. So you can see the steam hazard has been reduced a lot, which does help performance, although this gasworks is still probably one of the more intensive areas. You can see the destroyed pipes. I've had lots of comments that this texture I've used is a bit weird, but if you look at the destroyed pipes throughout On a Rail and throughout the rest of Black Mesa, which have an interior part like that, that's the same texture that Black Mesa used, so you know I'm a big fan of consistency. Let's take out these aliens up here. So some changes to the Barney scene. I've increased the volume of his dialogue, and I've also changed it a bit. Oh, ow! Wow, I forgot. I actually forgot. Die! Oh dear God. Alright, screw it. I wanted to keep the trip mines intact so you could have a look at the trip mine maze, but alas.
That sounded bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, Barney, I'll give you that. So I've changed his dialogue to remove a bit of overlap between this dialogue and the previous map, so I'll let you listen to that now.
You better stand down, buddy. Oh, thank God. My prayers have been answered. Just the kind of help I was looking for. How are you, Freeman? Now look here.
The rest of his dialogue remains the same. And for Surface Tension Uncut V2, this is where my video is going to end. My fraps pretty much refuse to work up to this point. And you've seen pretty much all of the meaningful changes from the previous versions. The rest remains largely the same with a few small bug fixes. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoy playing Surface Tension Uncut version 2. Overall, I'd say it's definitely worth giving it another go if you've played the previous version. There's a lot that's better than the previous versions. The performance is improved, generally. Some of the more demanding areas are more intensive now, for certain, so those with weaker computers may want to steer clear. I don't really know if you think it's going to be worth it or not. Otherwise, I wholeheartedly recommend you give it a go. I think I've really improved on my work in the past and addressed some of its flaws and weaknesses, of which there were plenty. And I've tried to make it just a higher standard, so that it fits in with Black Mesa's work better, and I think I've done that. There are still problems. I'm still not totally happy with the way it performs. I'd really like to squeeze a few more frames out of it. But as a mapper, optimization isn't my strongest suit, and I think that lots of the scenes which involve large numbers of AI can't really be optimized. So thank you for watching the video. You'll find the download link below. Thank you to the community for helping me test once again, and thank you to everyone for watching this video and playing my maps. It's been really fun, and I'm now going to resume work on a Rail Uncut again, and hopefully get that finished at some point soon, so I'll have more videos for you guys to come in the future. Thanks for watching.